as to what's going on with the rugby club. So I give you like a little State of the Union address or a State of the Club address. So to start out, this year our youth rugby had its biggest year. This past season we had over 40 boys and girls come out one time to play rugby. We started 7 years ago with 5 kids, and now we're up to 3 age groups. And for the second straight year now, we've had players from our youth rugby now move on into the high school team, which is really special. That's the whole point of West Stark Youth Rugby, is to have a grassroots where we can get the kids to learn rugby at a young age and then move into our high school program and then go on to college and then come back to our men's club. So the youth rugby has been a real big success. I want to thank Coach Ron Spinelli over here because and I couldn't do without him. And I also want to give a special acknowledgement to the high school players, because I have 5 or 6 high school kids that come out every Friday night and they help coach the oldest age group. And the high school kids, I feel them coaching are responsible for the transition we have from the kids going to the high school team. So it's a real help. The high school kids get community service recognition. My wife writes out nice certificates for them so they get to use their honors program. Now, speaking of the high school program, for the second straight year, our high school rugby team, coached by Mike Burton and Murph and Brian Kilcoyne and Alex Brickman. For the second straight year, the high school team made it to the state championship finals. In the past year, we have sent 9 high school players to play rugby in college. That's a real major milestone for our club, and I'm going to talk to you about those players in a second. Now, as far as the men's club goes, after making the playoffs this past spring, this fall season we lost a decent amount of rugby players to rugby retirement. It happens. Once you reach a point in the game, you get to a championship. A lot of guys that have been playing for a few years decide they've had enough. The good news is that we got a very talented group of young players on the men's club team that we're going to be building the team around this upcoming season. And seeing that we were having an issue where we needed new players, and rather than waiting for the spring, the next season or January to start recruiting, we started recruiting earlier, and I'm happy to say in the last 2 weeks of the end of the season, we picked up 5 or 6 new players for the men's club already, and they were athletes. And one of our new players is around here somewhere. Helen has a nephew from Ireland. He's joining our team this spring. Timmy's nephew, Helen's nephew, our Irish lad. We have an Irish lad. Finally, and Paul Chum does not get
So we've heard that story before.
So this spring, we're going to be entering multiple tournaments this spring to get our new players some playing time. In addition, we'll be hosting our own tournament again as usual, which has been a big success thanks to Rich Motor. And then we're going to try to regain or win the Cape May Brew Cup this year and take the trophy back from South Jersey for our next club. So what I'd like to do before we sit down and have a few more drinks and have dinner is I want to talk to you a little bit. This is really cool. We have kids in college right now that are playing rugby from our team, and I reached out to all their coaches, and I got them to give me some feedback on the players and how they're doing and things like that. So this will be interesting for you. The first kid I want to talk to you about is actually not in college right now. He started with us in our youth rugby program at age 12, 13 years old. That's Rich and Val's son, Jimmy. Yes. Well, he is, yes. I'm sorry. He's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's part of my story is that... Let me finish my story. So Jimmy started with us in our youth rugby program. He went and played 4 years of high school. He went away to college. He wasn't so happy with that college, so he decided to come back, which was great. Right, so he's in college now, but I didn't know that. So what the great news is that Jimmy came back and he joined our men's club this year. And as our men's club player, he is a scrum half, and he started every game, and he scored multiple tries all season. One game he even had a hat trick. He won man of the match twice, and this year he was our rookie of the year. Thanks to Ron and our videotaping the games. We made some highlight films of Jimmy, and Jimmy sent them off to Kutztown College, and he sent them off to Rowan, and Rowan got back to him immediately. They said, send your application in now, we want you. So it looks like Jimmy's going to be going to Rowan soon. So one of our other players who just graduated from our high school team, Kevin Thomas, he walked on University of Tennessee as a freshman.
Wow.
They took him on the rugby program. Within 3 weeks, he beat out the starting senior for the prop position. They just won the SEC Division I AA championship. Tomorrow, they're in the national championships, and he got offered a scholarship.
If I could say something about Kevin,
Yes.
he's a really good athlete. He's a better person.
So I got some progress reports from Rowan, from Coach Scott Wilson. And the first player he talked about was Grant, Roger's son Grant. Grant had a strong freshman season last year. He really committed to our fitness regime and lost a substantial amount of weight. In the second half of the season, he regularly appeared, this is important, he regularly appeared as a prop on our A-side reserve bench as a freshman. His sophomore season was unfortunately hampered by injury, and he missed a significant amount of time, but the coach says he's a great kid, scrummages well, and is a strong ball carrier. Another kid who went to Rowan, Luke Stoloff, he's a hooker. He did well his freshman season, which was this year. He had many standout performances as part of the B-side that lost only one game, was vying for an A-side reserve spot toward the end of the season. Super hard worker, aggressive, strong scrummager. Expect him to be part of the A-side next year as a reserve hooker. That's Luke. And another kid, this kid has started with our youth rugby program again at 11 years old, Dante. Dante Di Lorenzo, his father David used to play with us at one point when Andrew was playing, and Bill and all these guys may remember him if you saw him. But Dante had an outstanding freshman campaign. He featured in the A-side in nearly every week as a reserve scrum half center. He began as a scrum half but moved to center as the season progressed. He earned an A-side start at the end of the season. Awesome kid, super coachable, tough and hardworking, expecting big things from him going forward. So that's our Rowan guy.
All three of them are going to live together next year off campus. It's going
So next week, Roger's sports will be back.
So 3 new recruits for Jersey Shore.
Right? So this next one's real interesting because Mike is the father of Evan Burton, and Murph and Alex and Brian and myself we participated last year in coaching Evan Burton. And as Mike might tell you, and I don't feel I'm stepping out of bounds if I say this, but Mike might tell you, and Murph might tell you that during this past year, Evan might not have been the easiest kid to coach on the team. Kid's extremely talented, but as coaches, he was a tough kid to coach. So when I got this report from Evan's coach, Evan went to St. Bonaventure up in New York. And his coach is a former U.S. Eagle and Life player. And he sent this back to me. And this is going to, Mike, you may need a tissue for your eyes, and you too, Murph, when you hear this, because it just shows you that the impact that you guys have on your kids when you're coaching them, what happens when they go away for school. Evan is an outstanding young man and has some of the most natural athleticism I have seen. Evan is one of the most polite, humble, respectful, and coachable players in our program, which, as you know, makes coaches' lives easy every day. As far as athleticism goes, Evan has a lot of weapons in his arsenal. He is physical, aggressive, explosive, and fast. He is dangerous on either side of the ball and has the ability to score a try from anywhere on the pitch. Although Evan has a lot of individual highlights from this year, my favorite moment of his is when he had 2 or 3 breakaways in a single game and could have easily scored the tries himself, but opted to pass the ball to a nearby teammate so they could get a try under their belt. Although Evan is a freshman, he managed to land a few varsity rosters. I believe that if he continues on this path that he is on, he could very well find himself starting on the varsity stage next year. Evan has a bright future here at St. Bonaventure University, and we are pleased that he chose us.
My brother's there, but he did better.
So the next 4 players that I want to talk about very quickly are our 4 players over down at Life right now. We just sent one of the kids that started with us at 11 years old in youth rugby, played 4 years high school, and he's down there at Life on scholarship, Spencer O'Brien. Yeah. Spencer had the honor, Spencer is one of the few players, for the guys that don't know this, his senior year in high school, he had already gotten offered a scholarship at Life, so he decided not to play football the senior year, and he came out and played men's club for us and started the whole year for us as a senior in high school. So the coach says, as a freshman, Spencer has shown flashes of excellence on the field, been very consistent in the classroom. He's achieving Dean's List in his first and only term, has lots of potential, and is a great team guy. We are very excited about Spencer on our squad, and we are quite certain he will not only live up to his potential, but exceed it. Another local.
Let me guess. Spencer's. He's
Another player down in Life is a local kid here from Linwood, Mainland there, Richie Donofrio. Richie, as you guys know, his senior year playing with Mike and Murph and Alex and Brian, he broke his leg during the game after he had his scholarship, and it took him a long time to heal. So after a long period of being sidelined with the broken leg injury he suffered in high school rugby, Richie spent all this quarter working to get back in game shape and make the JV roster. Richie returned to the field last week in his first ever match at Life. It was a big moment for him, and he did not look out of place. I am expecting big things from Richie this coming season, and he will be a big part of our quest to win a 4th D1A national championship. Lastly, another proud parent here is Sean Lynch of Timmy and Helen's group. And Sean is down at Life, and this season we moved Sean from flanker to hooker.
Yeah! Yes, the hooker, yes!
Yeah.
We feel
only making money.
Don't worry, it doesn't affect you.
we feel that we can best exploit Sean's natural athletic talents at this position, and we expect him to go far. As this season, Sean has really hit the ground running. As a sophomore, listen to this, as a sophomore at a national championship D1A team, Sean not only is starting on the JV team, but he has made the varsity roster numerous times, and for a few games was the backup hooker behind the starting All-American.
Yes.
We expect key performances out of him this year and another big year of growth. That's Sean.
Sean's a good guy, but he's a fucking beast.
So what you guys are going to get a real kick out of this, because I got a call Sunday from Spencer, and they had a JV match this past Saturday where Their JV team was playing the D2 national champion runners-up, Atlanta Old White. They got 3rd place in the nation last year at D2. So naturally, Sean's the starting hooker. Second half of the game, Spencer gets to go into the game at prop. So now we got Sean and Spencer at prop. And with 20 minutes left in the game, Richie got in at prop. The whole front row was Sharks. They won the game by over 40 points.
62-12 they won that game.
Yeah, they won the game.
Just a word about Spencer. You know, 3 of my kids are youth rugby. Laura being the oldest. The kids were loving him, coach. Absolutely loving him.
He was a big help to our program. He's an awesome kid.
This is your moment. This is your moment.
I was small
Shine,
now.
shine.
So, you know, Helen started the rugby program at Kutztown. And of course, I played for the great
You were
Jersey Shore
terrible,
Sharks.
but we had fun.
And, you know, Timmy plays for Temple, then this Jersey Shore. Sean played with Jersey Shore, Cape Storm, and now Life. And then my daughter Deirdre is now playing for the Norfolk Women's Club. So we're now a complete rugby family.
Well, lastly, I want to really talk to you about. This is our. This next player is my, you know, has a special place in my heart because when he graduated from Rowan, and he was a really good player. We got him to graduate from Rowan. I'm thinking this is real exciting now. He's graduated from Rowan. He's going to come play for the Sharks, which he did. He told me that he needed to get his degree. He needed to do an internship. He had a degree in health sciences, and he needed a degree working in some doctor's office. I mean, an internship. So I made the. I don't know if I made the mistake. I'm not going to say I made the mistake, but I said I offered him, come in my office. You know, you can intern for me, and then by the end of the summer, I'll sign the papers, and you'll get your diploma. So he comes in, and he's playing rugby for us, and he's in my office, and he's about 2 weeks into my office. He goes, Doc, I think I want to be a chiropractor. And I go, well, I know where you're going to go. So I sent him down to Life, and now he didn't go to the undergrad. He went right to the chiropractic program, and he went down there from a D3 rugby college down to a team that wins national championships. And his coach has this to say about him. J.C. Carr is the perfect example how Lakeview Rugby family can change a player's life. Oh, I'm sorry, he mentions me here. It was Dr. J's. He goes, it was Dr. J's love of the game and his passion for chiropractic that inspired JC to start his journey at Life University. An 8th quarter student in the chiropractic program and a valued member of the Life University Club rugby team, JC's hard work to get where he is has been admirable. He is currently navigating the academic rigors of the doctorate program, having just started his first quarter in a student clinic with the demands of a full-time rugby training environment. JC has developed tremendously over the past 2 years and is a completely different player than when he started. He has worked tirelessly on his skill set, his physical development. His work ethic and leadership skills has made him a valuable member of our leadership group that led us to the 2019 D1 Club National Championship and to the Elite Cup Championship Final that we play tomorrow. On a personal note, his hard work has earned him an invitation to the Academy team for Rugby ATL, one of the new expansion teams in the Major League Rugby.
Yeah, that's right.
From the Lakeview Rugby family to the Jersey Shore Rugby family, we thank you and please keep them coming.
And he's a hooker too.
And then, just on a side note, JC is a flanker. He averages 17 tackles a game. He hasn't missed a game. He hasn't missed a game in 2 straight years. Played full 80 minutes every game. And his high tackle count is 26 tackles in 1 game. He's a powerhouse. And the good news is, I made a joke that, I made the mistake of offering him an internship because now he goes to Life and we lost him as a Shark. The good news is when I was visiting him next week, he can't wait to graduate and come back here and play.
Yeah.
being said, that is my State of the Union address.
Stand up, man.
Just say one thing. Hey, he's the thing. I am, but let me tell you something. Okay, I think we owe this guy up here. I'll say this. I'm one of his hardest critics a lot of times, and I always focus on the men's club and trying to replicate what was accomplished before in 2008. But I'll tell you something, and I mean this from my heart, okay? What you put together here, and you know, men's clubs are great, but producing young athletes, high school athletes, and college athletes, that's where the sport is. And I mean this from my heart. I think we're in a better position than we ever were. Okay, even though the men's club eventually it's going to start happening there too. But the real rugby is at the high school and at the college level, and we're sending guys to the best places, you know, the best colleges around. And that's a testament to the hard work of only one guy.
You to the Hall of Fame members that are already in this room tonight that can make it. So, Roger Howell, stand up for a second. Roger, Hall of Fame. Ben Klikovich, he's already standing up. Ben, come on up, Ben. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Present to you with your challenge coins. Now these challenge coins represent the fact that you're in the Hall of Fame, but also when you're out one night and you're with a fellow Hall of Famer, you can put your challenge coin on the bar, and if he doesn't have it with us, he owes you a drink. And if you don't have yours, you're in trouble. I know.
Put it down, and the other one has it. Go to the other one. Hey guys, ready? Dr. Jet. Right. First you get it down, you all have it. Oh, it's great.
That's your coach name. Navy blue. Yes. We should have Navy blue. All right. This is.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Come on, let's hear it.
All right, let's take another picture in a few minutes by inducting 2 more people in.
Yeah.
Woo!
I was trying to get all of them.
Ron, I might take you out when I get out.
Get up there now?
All right, so
Sorry, I was just about to go to the bathroom.
this year for the 2000.
Hey! The man's talking! Come on, man! He's a good.
Sorry, buddy.
All right, so this year for the 2019 Hall of Fame, we're inducting 2 members. We're inducting Bill McGarrigle and Keith Brimley. here. Ken Dorsett, who gives his regrets. He had a family, his kids in a swim meet, they had to spend the night somewhere, and Ken was going to do the introduction speech for Bill's induction to the Hall of Fame because Kenny and Bill were our starting lock forwards back in the early mid-1990s. So Kenny wrote his introduction, and he sent it to me to read for you, Bill.
And he told me to say that you booked the place without checking with him first, otherwise he would have been here. I think that's called an oh snap.
All right, so this is the words of tall Ken Dorsett. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Jay for allowing me the opportunity to introduce one of our new Hall of Fame members tonight. I apologize for not being able to attend in person. I had a prior commitment this weekend. If you don't mind, I would like to start with my first memory of meeting Billy. In the spring of 1994, I walked onto a Sharks rugby practice for the first time. I've never seen the game before, but I think I have something to offer the team. I have height and I have speed. I don't know why he put the speed thing in there. But he's not here to dispute it, so I didn't think he was that fast. But he goes, I have height and speed. So I jump into the field, I do the first few drills, and I have the guys to explain to me what I'm supposed to do, just like they do whenever we have a new player. And I hear someone yell, "Hey, Wheels!" And as I turn to respond, I think to myself, well, that didn't take long to get a nickname. And then to my surprise, a guy about my height and my build responds, yeah? And I'm thinking, what the fuck, really already? Because I'm still not sure the history behind the name Wheels. And as time goes on, I can see where it might have come from. But I still think I had him in that department. He thinks he's faster than you. As it turns out, Wheels would be the person to begin my education into this game we have all become addicted to. And for the guys on my current team, if you don't know Bill McGarrigle, his nickname is Wheels. Billy is a homegrown Shark who grew up in Brigantine, attended Holy Spirit High School, and joined the Sharks after graduating from Penn State University. He began his playing career in 1993 and officially finished in 1997. Occasionally playing in tournaments as old boys as we all came back together to relive our glory days. He was one of the most competitive people on the field and played the game with 100% effort whenever he was on the pitch. He is a perennial second row, strong in his position, covered the field like a flanker, his runs were bruising, and he punished the opposition in tackles or breakdowns. Always the first to step in if a teammate needed help, on and off the field. He was one of the best support players, friends we could have with us in any situation. Billy was also a big part of directing the club. As our older members moved on to bigger and better things, Billy stepped up and took on the club's administrative responsibilities as president, holding just about every role other than president we required, all of them at one time, if I remember. And as most of you can attest, this was a daunting task considering the band of misfits we were at the time. And that brings us to why we're here tonight. To this day, Billy is one of the best examples of how a Jersey Shore Shark conducts himself while on and off the field. Smart, cunning, determined, strong, fierce, and yes, even fast. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to step on the field with Billy and play alongside him. And after all these years, to still be considered his friend. Again, thank you, Jay, for allowing me the opportunity to introduce Billy tonight. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome Bill McGarrigle, the Jersey Shore Sharks.
You didn't
didn't like me.
Everyone's mad.
No, because I moved
Well, first of all,
out.
thank you very much. This is kind of crazy and kind of cool. Kenny's speech was pretty amazing. A little bit facetious in some ways. So yeah, the wheels thing was just it's kind of more about irony than anything else. Not really that fast. Thanks, Kenny, for saying that. Right. So to me, you know, you try to write these things, but I think I already talked to Jay about my speech in some ways. The memories that resonate when you start to think about this stuff. So I started in '93. Long story short, it was a drunken night at Maloney's. Yeah, you should come play rugby. Right, I don't think I'm going to play rugby. No, you really should come play rugby. And then it ends up, you write something on the thing that you give to DJ Kenny to say, I want to hear this song, and then it gets rubbed in your face the next morning. All right, 10 o'clock practice, let's go. Right? And then the first game is in Brigantine, and you go through it, and you play in University of Delaware, and that's kind of cool. And then the second game is, there's this tournament in Washington, D.C. And so you get in the car, you get into the car, and you drive to Washington, D.C. in a blizzard in 1993, thinking this is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. And you get up the next morning, and it's been snowing.
It's right here.
It's been snowing all night, and you get up and you're like, all right, rugby seems like a rugby sport, sure. Well, and you drive up, and there's people playing in snow about this deep, and they're in their shorts and short sleeves because you're a rugby player, so you can't wear long sleeves. And you get into the tent, and it's like, all right, I guess this is going to happen. I have no idea why, but it's going to happen. And you go out there, and you're ready to play, and Billy Chafe's wearing his Minnesota Vikings shirt, because that's what Billy Chafe wears. And you're like, all right, get ready. And it's like, tournament's game. Like, what the, I'm in DC.
There was one game.
You guys have 31 inches of snow.
It was a state of emergency. We still drove down.
The beauty of it was that the party starts then at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So you go to my brother's place at 11 a.m. and kick 128 kegs by 4.
Oh my goodness.
And then you go to the Dubliner at 5, get into a fight at 6, and that's just how rugby starts.
And have a snowball fight with the senators on the steps of the Capitol building. Yes.
So that's the beginning of my rugby career. And as in '95, I got dropped on my head in a game where, and Keith always tells me, it's so funny, Keith always tells me, he's like, I still don't know how you didn't break your neck. Like, it was a game against Stony Brook, and so as was referenced, I think I was the match secretary, the president, the this, the that, all these other things. So I have to go to the hospital because my neck's starting to swell up, and I tried to get back in and lock with Ben after I got dropped on my head. I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I'm not feeling very good right now. So I go to the sidelines. At that point, my mom takes me to the hospital because she's watching this game. I have all my friends there. I go to the hospital, and it's like, there's an after party, Stony Brook. I think the game got broken up because we knocked like 3 guys out of the game at that point because I got dropped on my head. And Joe Parker, who's not here, but Joe Parker is, probably somebody that should be here. He's like, he shows up at the hospital. He's like, Phil, we need the money for the party. Because I'm sitting in the waiting room, in the emergency room, with my neck about to, my head about to fall off, right? So again, and Kenny referenced it in his speech a little bit. Rugby for us at the time, it's always joked that we're the lost years. At 92 they played in a playoff game, and I actually got to play in 93 the match game to try to go up to Division I. When I first started, that was like my 4th game of my career. And by the time we got to 97, there's been this, things had fallen off. We were a family. We weren't a club. We were just this family that would, go hang out. Thursday night we would go to Maloney's. Friday night we would go to Maloney's. Saturday night we'd go play rugby and then go to Maloney's. And I could talk for days about the stories, right? The rugby stories, the after party stories, the in-between stories, the 4-day weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, like on and on and on and on. the reality of it is the bonds, and it's represented, like, we all grab this big table, and there's probably, we could make it one big table, because, you know, Roger and Ben, and Wes, they all showed me how to play forward, and Jay, and everybody else. Jay showed me how to be an administrator and all this other stuff. And the reason I bring all this up is because for us, it was this tight-knit group. There was maybe, you know, we went to Harrisburg with 14 or 15 people in a band, and it was a freaking awesome trip. And I'll talk about all the stuff that happened outside of that.
Awesome.
But you know, I went to Brandywine and met the Simeon and Helen's relatives when we went there. Like, Rugby's a community, it's a family. But now this team is a club, and it's something more than just what we had then. And those of you that still play, and those of you that will be playing in the future, need to recognize, Angelo touched on it, right? Like, we never had that. Like, I met Pat Dennehy when I first started playing because he was the coach at the time. But Pat moved, and, you know, everybody moves. You guys are experiencing it now as a club. But
Today's his birthday, Bill.
Is it really?
Pat's Dennehy's birthday.
I couldn't have connected those two if I tried.
And he's still involved with National Rugby.
Well, and that's the point, right? The foundation that is set now for this club is something that can go forward, and it is the base that we never had. And those of you that are playing should relish it. You have somebody like Jay and Angelo, and all those people that are coaching, and take that and build from it, right? Like, we had to fold the team because it was literally 14 of us getting in a van playing, 15 of us getting in a van and playing 2 matches, right? Like, Angelo had a broken neck. You know, at one point it was like practically, and he still played 2 matches. And, you know, Ben and Roger and all these guys were playing in their 40s, right? I remember Wes driving 6 of us down to Washington, D.C. to play a freaking game.
In the van.
Yeah, in Wes's old band, the Thomas and Company band. And you know what? It was awesome. I mean, that's what Rugby Life was for us. And I just want to reiterate how awesome it is to be part of this group, to be part of something that's more than just rugby as a player or rugby as a bunch of guys drinking, because that's what life was for us at that moment. Which was, again,
our rugby team has a drinking problem.
Yeah. Right.
Drinking team has a rugby problem?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, but at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. Thank you all.
I had another name for Bill. It was Straight Arm McGarrett. Billy had the greatest straight arm you've ever saw in your life. He'd be running down the field, this guy would come over to tackle, this guy was for sure he had it, for sure. Wham! Right in his face, on his back. Holy shit, step on him and keep going. One of the greatest straight arms you ever saw in your life.
Alright, so what I'd like to do right now is I want to introduce Angelo Di Bartolo, who will do the induction.
Lower the table. We don't have time for his speeches. I didn't write his speech.
Let me lower the camera.
I'm short. You were there, you were there. You got that right. So, you know, I didn't write his speech, but I'm dropping my son off to wrestling this before I came here, actually. My wife picked him up. And go ahead. Keep drinking. Good job. And when I was dropping him off, he asked, Daddy, where are you going? And I told him I'm going to my rugby team's Hall of Fame dinner, and I'm inducting, you know, my friends. And he stopped me at the door, and he said, Dad, he said, Dad, you're in the Hall of Fame? And he goes, I didn't know you were famous. Okay? And I had to break the news to him that it's just the Jersey Shore Sharks Rugby Hall of Fame. And then I'm not that famous. And then I explained it to him. And this is it's just Jersey Shore Hall of Fame. But to us, it means the world. It means the world to Dr. J and all the sacrifices he's made. It means the world. I look around in this room, and everybody in this room tonight, rugby is a very, very important part of their life. Okay? And yeah, it's just Jersey Shore Rugby Hall of Fame, local men's club down in South Jersey, but it's special. It really is special. And it brings me to Keith.
No, I prefer to have it.
It brings me to Keith. And Keith is, I played rugby with Keith from, really day one. I don't remember the exact moment we started playing together. I was on the bench, most certainly, and he was playing. Okay? But, Keith belongs in the Hall of Fame. You could argue Keith belongs in the Hall of Fame in the first group. And the reason I say that, I've played with a lot of guys. And, what makes a good rugby player? Right? What makes a good rugby player? It's someone that can get from breakdown to breakdown. And if you've ever seen Keith play, the guy doesn't miss a tackle. And he's at every single breakdown. He's involved in it. Right? And, his emotions, rugby's an emotional sport. Sometimes you're getting punched and you get, things are going on. See the face he's making right now? That's what you saw in every game. I never saw him throw a punch. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I never did.
Never saw him throw a punch. He even keeled throughout a game. No ups and downs with emotion. You got what you got. The guy gave 110% on that field all the time. I was thinking about this. We've all played with a really, I think about like Tony Flagg. Okay? Listen to my, when I played rugby, and I knew when I played with Keith or with Tony, I always had a little bit of confidence that we could win this game. If I had to pick, since he's not here, I'm going to say this, all right? But if I had to pick someone, I would pick Keith because I'd get 80 minutes out of him. Tony would have been out of the game in 20 minutes with a red card.
Oh, wow.
He played in those early years. He played on the team in the 90s with me. And then when the team,
Hey guys, come on, a little respect here.
When the team stopped, and we disappeared for a little bit. Keith used to go up to South Jersey with me. Initially a lot, then was once in a while. And I remember I'd go up there, me and Murph would drive up there all the time, up to South Jersey, to play with South Jersey. And they would always ask me, Coach Sheffield would always ask me, is Keith coming? Is Keith, I feel like, yeah, I can't go there. Is Keith coming? Is Keith coming? Okay, because he did the same thing. And I wish I would have reached out to them. Because I know they would have been saying the exact same thing. Because he certainly did play a lot there, but he certainly could have been in the Hall of Fame. South Jersey, too, by the way, he played. And then, in many ways, Keith is, you look at him, he kind of looks like, he's like the missing link. Right? He's the link. And he's the link. He is a little Neanderthalish. He is the missing, he's the link, listen, he's the link between the old team.
And he's a better person.
He's the link between the old team and the new team. When we reformed this team, and we needed players. Some of you don't know, we didn't have a lot of players. We just said, we're forming this team. We went out and we like fake sipped people, made up names, sent them in the EPRU, said, we got a team. I was making up names and social security, whatever they wanted, like sending it off.
We're legit, really, we're legit.
And he was one of those first players that started playing with us. And I'll never forget one of the first games against Second City. I made the mistake, we were playing down in Avalon, and I made the mistake. They said that they weren't going to play us, and I went and I reported them to the EPRU. Not a good move. Second City at the time was a pretty good rugby team, and they were furious. But I did this, and they brought down everybody to come play us. Okay? And I started calling everybody. And thank God, Keith came out in that field, and I think we won that game. We actually ended up winning the game.
We did.
And it was one of our very early games, and it showed that it was going to happen. Sadly, Keith stopped playing because he had 4 children. 4 children. And he stepped down and stopped playing. Right before we, like 2006 is when he stopped playing. But if it wasn't for Keith, we never would have been there. Okay?
Before you introduce it, just talking about Keith gathering players. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Paul. 14-year-old rookie lifeguard me, like first day of rookie school, running, you got to warm up, running down to the pier and back. I get to Dorset Avenue, I hear, hey Smitty, I turn my head, here this rugby ball hits me, I caught it, and then I get blasted by him. That was my introduction to rugby. And so we went, I started, he got me out there in Summers Point when you were trying to start the team back up. I didn't stay at that point, off to college and back, but that planted the seed, came home, started back up with you guys, and the rest is history. But yeah, it's Keith's fault.
The guy never gets tired on the field. I never saw anybody like him. Okay? I don't know how he does it, but there he is. Keith Thriller. Thank you very much. I'll use no speech again because it's got exactly the same. I was watching a History Channel show about alien abductions, and it occurred to me this is the same thing that happened. I was 18 years old, buddy of mine, Kevin Scanlon, I talked to him, said, hey, there's rugby signups. I'm like, I've never heard of signups. I've never heard of rugby. He's like, they're at Maloney's and it's free. I'm like, I'm in. There it is again. Next thing I know, at 10 a.m., I'm in practice. It was, I swear, there's some out-of-body experience that gets you in there. But once you're in there, you're hooked. It's a phenomenal sport. More than the sport itself, it's the people around you that actually play. Starting off with Wes and Roger and that group, and Jimbo Steelman having us take a lap every time we were between drills. Yeah, damn old guys. Jumping right up in there. Appreciate everything that everyone's done. This night is phenomenal. I love connecting with everybody again. I feel like I'm always too busy to connect. I took time. I had to get here tonight. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate everything that everyone's done. Some of the things go along, and again, it's eerie how it goes through. You're playing the first game, the next thing you're in D.C. I swear it's the same exact story. It's really weird. Back in the day, you're taking a trip,
having a couple games, all of a sudden you're taking a leak on the Capitol steps. You just can't do that stuff every day. Yeah, exactly. It's frowned upon now. It's amazing how that works. But there's years, and I really can't remember the years. I don't know if it's all the times I ran into people, but literally and figuratively. But it was just great. A lot of the times, a lot of the games, a lot of the memories. That's really what this whole club's about. But it was sad when it went away for a couple years, and it came back strong. And it came back even stronger with the next group coming in. And the high school group, the youth group now, is a great way to grow the program. Thanks a lot, Jay, for contacting us and getting this together. Appreciate everything.
Short and sweet, so thank you again, everybody, for tonight, and we're very happy to have Bill and Keith join us into our Hall of Fame, which is now 24 members. And the Hall of Fame actually supports the club in many different ways, so we're just proud of the organization itself, too. What's that? What did he say? Oh yeah, you will be getting your 10-12 application in the mail. All right, so everybody have a good time, have fun tonight. We have hats and t-shirts and hoodies, anything you guys would like over here for sale, so feel free to shop around.
Man, this is